experience with trying out the Andrew Huberman Daily Routine for 30 days. Now, I decided I was going to give this a try just because I saw all the other people on YouTube doing it, so I said, you know what? Let me see what all the hype is about. Supposedly, the protocol is designed to improve productivity, improve general biomarkers like testosterone and growth hormone, and all the other fancy stuff. All that really is saying is that it is supposed to make you feel better. Now, all the credit goes to Andrew Huberman for providing his routine, so please check out his YouTube page and media. But for those of you who don't know who he is, he has one of the most popular health and wellness podcasts out there. I'll put a link to some of his media below. For everyone who is just here just for the results after my 30 days, here it is. Short answer was that I was way more productive than I was before. Turns out, I guess it's not that crazy to think that my productivity would improve if I'm following my body's natural circadian rhythm, meaning that I'm waking up in the morning with some sunlight and going to sleep at night when it's dark. Despite the boost in energy and my overall effectiveness, I discovered that for me, productivity was actually more related to my phone use than my actual energy levels. On the days that I would use my phone in the morning while I'm still in bed to either check Reddit or social media, I immediately knew that I was going to be compromised for the rest of the day. And on the days that I didn't, my productivity was through the roof. This ended up being somewhat of a blessing in disguise because now I write out my goals the night before, which helps me track what I need to do. Otherwise, if I didn't, I would just end up scrolling mindlessly on social media to fill in the time. So now that you heard the results, I am going to briefly go over Huberman's routine and some of the modifications that I made to fit my schedule and lifestyle better. The general outline is to wake up in the morning between 5:30 and 6:30, get some sun exposure within the first 5 to 10 minutes of waking up, then drink some water with lemon and salt, accompanied with a light walk, all topped off with some meditation and yoga if you are still tired. Then do some productive work for roughly about an hour or so, with the minor caveat that all this is to be done before taking caffeine for the first 60 to 90 minutes after waking up. So no coffee or tea right away. Then go to the gym for about an hour, followed with a cold shower. The first meal would be around 12 to 1, assuming that you slept around 10 o'clock at night, because this protocol follows a intermittent fasting protocol. Intermittent fasting here means that you are to fast for roughly 16 hours and eat in an 8-hour window. Then after the meal, do some productive work all the way up into the evening time, where it's advised to eat dinner, specifically something that's heavier in starches. And after all that, the day ends with dimming the lights at 9 o'clock and getting into bed at 10 to hopefully sleep for 7 to 8 hours. So here's how I started. For me, I actually had taken a family trip to Hong Kong and came back all jet lagged. So I figured, you know what better time to try this thing out than now, with a fresh new start, using my jet lag to my advantage by waking up around 5:30 to 6:30. Easy peasy. Instead of lemon juice and salt, I decided that I was going to get 2 cups of water with electrolyte tablets.
I also take some multivitamins. I have a Segway by the day. And in here, I have fish oil, vitamin D, 5,000 IUs, multivitamin, and some glucosamine.
I didn't have too much trouble with this part just because this was something that I already did before even starting this routine. Then I would try to go for a walk outside for sun exposure.
It's not particularly bright in the morning. The sun is kind of just starting to come out. This is normally what it looks like around 6:30, 7 o'clock. On the days that I do wake up a little bit later, then I'll consider coming out. But most of the time I stay inside, turn the lights all the way on, and kind of drink my water and have my tablets.
Dr. Huberman did say that that was the next best thing if there wasn't any sun outside.
So if you wake up before the sun is out and it's still dark, please turn on as many bright artificial lights as you possibly can or need, but then get outside once the sun is out.
The idea of sun exposure is to properly set the circadian rhythm by having the sunlight trigger a reflex in the eyes to become more awake, and then for about 16 hours later feel more tired by releasing the sleep hormone melatonin. The sun exposure early in the morning supposedly improves mood, alertness, and hormone balance. Now, from my own experience, I didn't really think it made that much of a difference except for improving my sleep patterns. My mood and energy felt relatively the same. And then in the morning, instead of yoga, I spent my time doing some stretching. Why stretching? Well, it was painfully brought to my attention that my flexibility is not as good as I would like it to be. because as it turns out, fencing the national Hong Kong champion will expose you. Alright, we're in the elevator with the Hong Kong champ here.
Oh my god, he's so
Oh
safe.
yeah.
Oh,
Hong Kong champ.
Who told you that?
You told me that.
I didn't tell you that.
Hold it in, bring it in.
You bring it in. Oh, you're not flexible at all.
You can't go that fast.
He was here.
Yeah, you can't go that fast. You gotta chill.
That's not even stretching.
Wow.
Thank you.
So getting back, I decided that I was going to spend about a half hour each morning doing a bunch of different stretches, and then I followed it up with going to the gym for some weight training, so that maybe next time when I get a rematch, I would get a single point, but probably not. After the stretching, I would get myself a bit ready for the gym, which involved me taking some caffeine. I would just get some caffeine tablets because it would be faster to take, and also it would be consistent in terms of 200 milligrams every single time. For the gym, I would weight train for 4 to 5 times a week, and cardio would usually just be in the form of basketball, either getting some drill work in or playing some pickup games. I figure if I'm going to be getting my heart rate up, I might as well build some skill, dribbling or shooting while I'm at it. And then after the workout came the ice shower. Now, I initially thought this was going to be the worst part of all of this because, you know, it's an ice shower, but it actually wasn't that bad most of the time. However, the other times, it was exactly as bad as I thought it was going to be, so yeah, it wasn't my favorite. But the idea of the cold showers is to spike the hormones like epinephrine, norepinephrine, and dopamine to help with focus and energy, improve memory, and dopamine specifically for an improved mood and motivation, but most obviously helping you wake up. Then it comes to eating. Now, I followed the intermittent fasting protocol just because I actually wanted to lose a couple of pounds from all the extra weight that I put on during my trip. So he recommends eating the first meal around 12 to 1 o'clock, or if you've just worked out, then you can eat something after training, specifically something with carbohydrates and proteins to restore some glycogen and kickstart the muscle repairing process. Now, the general rule of thumb is essentially try not to eat food that is heavily processed. So for example, it would be better to eat vegetables instead of candy. Now, normally if I'm at home, I would eat maybe about 6 eggs and some fruits, or maybe I pick up some rotisserie chicken from Costco to snack on. But if I was out, I would be eating all kinds of random things like Greek food or Jamaican food or rice and beans, whatever was convenient for me at the time.
My lunch is pretty much the biggest meal of the day. If I have my way, it'll be a steak, a salad, maybe a little more starch, although I sort of got it earlier.
Yep.
Then as the day progresses to around 3 or 5, this is when most of the normal work is done. For Andrew Huberman, that is related to him writing scripts or making YouTube videos or maybe even reading for work. I'm just guessing. For myself, it is me doing my job as a physical therapist. So that is either me working at the clinic or I'm on the road visiting patients at their homes. Very occasionally, I will be at home doing some work related to even this video that I'm making here. Now, after all that work is done, at some point in the evening, around 6 to 7 p.m., that would be the time that I would eat dinner. In this meal, it is suggested to eat a higher carb meal just because it would help with sleep, at least for my hormonal level. Say no more, this is normally when I'm pretty hungry anyways, and most of the food that tastes good usually has quite a bit of carbs in them. The final part is just preparing for the sleep routine. Now in this protocol, it says to either do some light cardio or yoga or reading, following with dimming the lights around 9 o'clock and ultimately going to sleep around 10ish. The biggest game changer was really the dimming of the lights, and I also made my room cooler, which made a difference to me feeling tired and more comfortable, ultimately making me sleep earlier. And then I would just repeat the cycle every single day for 30 days. And that's it. So will I keep doing this routine after 30 days? Short answer is yes, because I have modified it enough to fit my schedule, and it's kind of just become a habit at this point. Waking up early in general just makes me feel a little bit more productive, and it keeps me structured throughout the week. but that is also kind of the downside, that if I don't sleep on time, my ability to bounce back is just not as good, so I'm just not as resilient. The main things that I would continue are the electrolytes in the morning, the morning light exposure, immediately, of course, and dimming the lights at night and cooling off the room to sleep a little bit better. I am not sure if I'm going to continue waking up at 5 or 6 in the morning, just because it also requires for me to sleep on time, and that's really difficult if I ever had to go to a social outing. And then intermittent fasting, I'm not really sure, because honestly, I like to eat, but maybe. And what I definitely will not be continuing is the cold showers, because that sucks and I don't want to do it. Anyways, I would say that the routine is effective, but it isn't for everyone. People who work night shifts, or if your job has you on call, or you're traveling all the time, or maybe even got a couple of kids that you have to take care of, the routine is going to be extremely difficult to follow. But if you don't have any of those particular barriers, then it's worth giving it a try. So anyways, that's my experience. Thanks for watching, guys, and I hope to see you in the next video.